Have you ever wondered about the quiet that came before everything? Not just the quiet of a still night, but a silence so deep and so complete that it contained all the sound that would ever be. Have you ever thought about the darkness that came before the first star? A darkness so pure that it held all the light yet to be born. Let your mind drift back, past every memory, past every historical event, past the beginning of our world, to a time before time itself. There is no need to understand it all. There is only the gentle act of listening, of wondering, as we journey back to the very first moment. Allow yourself to settle in. Let your body feel heavy and relaxed. Let your breath be slow and easy. We're going to drift through the quietest story ever told. In the beginning, there was no beginning. There was no before. There was only a state of being that is difficult to put into words. Imagine not a point of light, but a state of pure potential. A single, unified existence where all the laws of physics, all the energy, all the matter of our vast universe was held in a space smaller than a single grain of sand. It was not crowded. It was not loud. It was simply complete. All the future galaxies, all the swirling nebulae, all the suns and planets, and even you, resting here now, were contained within this seed of reality. It was a state of perfect, tranquil unity, a silent promise of everything to come. There was no explosion, no violent bang. Instead, think of it as an unfolding, a blossoming, a single, silent, outward breath that began the expansion of space itself. In the very first sliver of a second, a moment so infinitesimally small it defies imagination, the universe simply began to expand. It was not expanding into anything because there was nothing outside of it. Space itself was being created, stretching in all directions at once. This initial period, known as inflation, was a moment of incredible, smooth, and silent growth. Imagine a perfectly still surface of a pond, and then imagine the entire pond expanding smoothly, without a single ripple, growing from a drop to an ocean in a fraction of a second. This expansion was so pure, so uniform, that it laid the foundation for the smooth, vast cosmos we see today. It ironed out any wrinkles, creating a canvas of immense size, ready to be painted with the first light and matter. In this moment of pure expansion, the universe was a sea of raw energy. It was unimaginably hot, but this was not the heat of a fire. It was the heat of pure existence, of energy vibrating at its highest possible frequency. It was a perfect, uniform hum, a resonant frequency of creation itself. There are no particles yet, no light, no structures, just the pure, unwritten potential of the cosmos, stretching out in a moment of profound and silent transformation. The rules of existence were just beginning to crystallize, like frost forming on a window pane in the quietest, coldest hour of the night. As this initial, rapid expansion slowed to a more measured pace, the universe continued to grow and, more importantly, to cool. This cooling was the key to everything that would happen next. As the temperature of this energetic sea began to drop, something remarkable occurred. The pure energy began to congeal, to precipitate into the first fundamental particles. Imagine a thick, warm mist that, as it cools, begins to form the tiniest, most minuscule droplets of dew. This is what happened in the early universe. Energy, following the elegant rules of physics, transformed into matter. Quarks and antiquarks, electrons and positrons, neutrinos, the fundamental building blocks of everything, flickered into existence from the cooling energy field. For a time, the universe was a thick, soupy plasma of these particles, a roiling, dense scene known as the quark-gluon plasma. It was a state of matter so extreme, so dense, that it cannot be replicated anywhere in the universe today, except for fleeting moments inside powerful particle accelerators. But in the beginning, this cosmic soup was all there was. It was a chaotic dance of particles being created and annihilated, a constant exchange of energy and matter. Yet in its own way, it was a state of balance, a vibrant, energetic equilibrium in in the newborn cosmos. There was no up or down, no center or edge. Just this uniform, thick, and shimmering soup of potential, filling all of newly created space. As the universe continued its slow, steady expansion, it also continued its patient cooling. With every passing moment, the cosmic soup grew a little less dense, a little less energetic. This subtle shift allowed the quarks, which had been darting about freely, to begin to feel a stronger attraction to one another. They began to cluster together in groups of 3. This was a quiet, fundamental moment of creation. Quarks, the most basic constituents of matter, were forming the first composite particles, protons and neutrons. It was not a sudden event, but a gradual transition. Imagine a vast, crowded ballroom where everyone is dancing alone. As the music slows, the dancers begin to find partners, forming small, stable groups. In the same way, the quarks found their partners, settling into the stable configurations that would form the heart of every atom to come. For every particle of matter created, a particle of antimatter was also born. For a time, matter and antimatter met and annihilated each other, vanishing back into pure energy. It was a cosmic balancing act, but for reasons we are still trying to understand, there was a tiny, almost insignificant imbalance. For every billion pairs of matter and antimatter particles that canceled each other out, a single matter particle was left over. This tiny surplus, this cosmic leftover, is the reason that anything exists at all. It is the source of all the stars, all the galaxies, and all the matter we see around us today. A quiet, subtle asymmetry in the very beginning gave rise to the entire physical universe. The great dance of annihilation subsided, leaving behind a calm, thin sea of protons, neutrons, and electrons, the stable matter that would build the future. The universe was now a few minutes old. It was still incredibly hot and dense, but it had cooled enough for the next great step in creation to begin. The protons and neutrons, which had formed from the sea of quarks, now began to join together. This process, called nucleosynthesis, was the universe's first act of cooking. In the hot, dense conditions of this early era, protons and neutrons fused together to form the first atomic nuclei. It was a simple recipe with only 2 main ingredients. Most of the nuclei formed were simple hydrogen nuclei, which are just single protons, but some of them fused to create helium nuclei along with tiny traces of lithium. For about 20 minutes, the entire universe was a nuclear furnace, forging the raw elements that would one day power the stars. After that, the universe had expanded and cooled too much for fusion to continue. The cooking was done. The cosmic recipe was set. The universe was now composed almost entirely of a vast, glowing cloud of hydrogen and helium nuclei, along with a sea of free-floating electrons. It was still a foggy, opaque place. Light, in the form of photons, was constantly being scattered by these free electrons, unable to travel any significant distance. Imagine being inside a thick, dense fog, where you can only see a few inches in front of your face. The entire universe was like this, a glowing, uniform fog, with no structures, no stars, no galaxies. It was a simple, homogeneous state filled with a soft, pervasive light that was trapped, unable to shine freely across the cosmos. This was the state of the universe for thousands of years, a long, patient waiting period as it continued to expand and cool, preparing for its next great transformation. For about 380,000 years, the universe remained in this state, a hot, opaque plasma of atomic nuclei and electrons. But all the while it was expanding, thinning out, and cooling down. Slowly, patiently, the temperature dropped. It reached a critical threshold, a point where the universe was cool enough for the next quiet miracle to occur. The free electrons, which had been darting about, scattering light and keeping the universe foggy, now had slowed down enough to be captured by the hydrogen and helium nuclei. They began to settle into orbits around the nuclei, forming the first stable, neutral atoms. This event is called recombination. It was not a sudden flash, but a gradual clearing. As electrons found their atomic homes, they no longer scattered the photons of light. The fog lifted. For the very first time, light could travel freely across the vastness of space. The universe became transparent. The light that was released at this moment, this very first light, is still traveling through the universe today. As space has expanded over billions of years, this light has been stretched out, its wavelength getting longer and longer, its energy growing weaker and weaker. Today, we can detect this ancient light as a faint, cold glow in all directions of the sky. It is called the cosmic microwave background. It is the oldest light in the universe, a gentle, invisible hum that fills all of space. It is a faint echo of that moment of clearing, a whisper from a time when the universe was young and just beginning to reveal its potential for clarity and structure. When you look up at the night sky, you are looking into this transparent universe, a clarity that was born in this quiet, graceful moment of atomic formation. With the universe now transparent, a new era began. It is known as the Cosmic Dark Ages. This name might sound ominous, but it was an era of profound peace and tranquility. For hundreds of millions of years, the universe was dark. The initial glow of the hot plasma had faded, and there were not yet any stars to illuminate the cosmos. Imagine a vast, silent space filled with a thin, invisible mist of hydrogen and helium atoms. There was no light, no sound, no complex structures, only the quiet, patient pull of gravity. During this long, dark period, gravity began to do its slow, methodical work. The universe was not perfectly uniform, due to tiny quantum fluctuations in the very beginning. Some regions of space were infinitesimally denser than others. These tiny seeds of structure were all that gravity needed. Ever so slowly, over millions upon millions of years, gravity began to pull the atoms of gas towards these slightly denser regions. It was a process of immense patience. Imagine the slowest, most gentle gathering of mist into clouds. The denser regions grew denser, pulling in more and more material from their surroundings. The less dense regions grew emptier, becoming the great voids of space. In the deep, silent darkness, the first large-scale structures of the universe were being sketched out. A vast, invisible cosmic web began to form, with long filaments of gas connecting at dense nodes. This was the framework upon which the future galaxies would be built. The Dark Ages were not an empty time. They were a time of quiet preparation, a period of gestation where the universe was slowly gathering its strength and material, preparing for the moment when it would, once again, be filled with light. After hundreds of millions of years of patient gathering in the dark, the clouds of hydrogen and helium gas in the densest regions of the cosmic web had grown massive enough to begin collapsing under their own gravity. As these clouds contracted, the pressure and temperature at their centers began to rise. Slowly, steadily, over countless millennia, the cores of these collapsing clouds grew hotter and hotter. They were not yet stars, but protostars, glowing faintly with the heat of their own compression. Eventually, the core of the most massive of these clouds reached a critical temperature of about 10 million degrees. At this point, a new process ignited. Nuclear fusion began. The hydrogen atoms at the core of the cloud started to fuse together to form helium, releasing a tremendous amount of energy in the process. A star was born. The first stars in the universe switched on, not with a sudden flash, but with a slow, steady increase in brightness, like a dimmer switch being turned up over thousands of years. These first stars were giants, hundreds of times more massive than our own sun. They burned incredibly hot and incredibly bright, shining with a brilliant blue-white light. They were like lonely lighthouses in the vast, dark ocean of the cosmos. Their powerful ultraviolet light began to stream out into the surrounding gas, marking the end of the cosmic dark ages. This period, known as reionization, was when the light from the first stars began to clear the neutral hydrogen gas that had filled the universe, turning it back into a transparent plasma. but this time a cold, thin one. The universe was being illuminated from within, one star at a time, as these first points of light pushed back the darkness and began to shape the cosmos we know today. These first, giant stars lived fast and died young. Because they were so massive, they burned through their nuclear fuel in only a few million years, a mere blink of an eye in cosmic terms. When they reached the end of their lives, they did not simply fade away. They ended in spectacular explosions called supernovae. But we can think of these not as violent events, but as acts of generous creation. In their final moments, these stars forged heavier elements inside their cores. Carbon, oxygen, silicon, iron, elements that had never existed in the universe before. When the star exploded, it scattered these new, precious elements out into space, like a flower scattering its seeds on the wind. This stardust, rich with new potential, mixed with the surrounding clouds of hydrogen and helium. The next generation of stars would be born from these enriched clouds. They would have a richer palette of elements to work with, allowing for the formation of smaller, more stable stars, and eventually, planets. At the same time, the immense gravity of these first stars and the dark matter that surrounded them began to pull in other stars and gas clouds. The first galaxies began to form. They were not the grand spirals we see today, but small, irregular collections of stars, like tiny, glowing islands in the cosmic sea. Over time, these small galaxies would drift towards each other, drawn together by the gentle, persistent pull of gravity. They would merge and combine, growing larger and more structured over billions of years. The universe was beginning to look less like a uniform fog and more like a celestial tapestry, with bright points of light clustered together into the first galactic structures. The era of quiet simplicity was ending, and a new era of complex, beautiful structure was beginning to dawn. Over the next few billion years, the universe continued its slow and graceful evolution. The process of galaxy formation continued. Smaller galaxies merged to form larger ones in a slow, cosmic dance that continues to this day. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, was formed through this process. It began as a collection of smaller proto-galaxies and star clusters that gradually coalesced, drawn together by gravity. As the material came together, it began to rotate, flattening out into a large spinning disk. Within this disk, waves of compression, known as spiral arms, began to form. These arms are not solid structures, but rather density waves, like a slow-motion traffic jam of stars and gas. As clouds of gas pass through these spiral arms, they're compressed, triggering new waves of star formation. This is why the spiral arms of our galaxy are so bright and blue. They are filled with hot, young, newly born stars. Our Milky Way became a vast, self-sustaining city of stars, a stellar nursery where generations of stars have been born, have lived, and have returned their elements to the cosmic environment. On a larger scale, galaxies were not scattered randomly through space. They were arranged along the filaments of the cosmic web that had been sketched out during the Dark Ages. Galaxies are found in clusters, and clusters of galaxies are found in superclusters, all connected by vast, thread-like structures of gas and dark matter. The universe had developed a beautiful, intricate, large-scale structure, like dewdrops collected on a vast, invisible spiderweb. The history of the universe from this point on is a story of cycles. The cycle of star birth and death, the cycle of galactic mergers, all driven by the patient, unchanging force of gravity, all unfolding in the vast, silent theater of expanding space. It is a story of increasing complexity, of simple hydrogen and helium being forged into the richer elements needed for life, all happening on timescales that are almost beyond our ability to comprehend. About 9 billion years after the beginning, in a quiet, unassuming spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, a particular cloud of gas and dust began its own slow collapse. This cloud, called a solar nebula, was vast, spanning several light years across. It was composed mostly of the hydrogen and helium left over from the beginning, but it was also enriched with the heavier elements, the carbon, oxygen, and iron, that had been created and scattered by previous generations of stars. This cloud was the inheritance of billions of years of cosmic evolution. As it began to contract under its own gravity, it started to spin, and as it spun, it flattened out into a large, rotating disk, like a potter shaping a lump of clay on a wheel. At the center of this disk, the material grew denser and hotter. This dense, hot core was the protostar that would become our sun. It continued to gather material from the surrounding disk, growing in mass and temperature over millions of years. The rest of the disk, swirling around this nascent star, was a thin platter of dust and gas, known as a protoplanetary disk. This is where the planets of our solar system would be born. It was a cold, dark place, illuminated only by the faint glow of the growing sun at its center. Within this disk, the process of planet formation was a quiet and patient one. It began with tiny grains of dust and ice. These grains, no bigger than particles of smoke, began to stick together through gentle collisions. They formed larger clumps, which grew into pebble-sized objects. These pebbles then gathered into larger bodies, the size of boulders, then mountains. This process, called accretion, continued for millions of years. These large bodies, called planetesimals, continued to collide and merge, slowly clearing out their orbits and growing into the planets we know today. It was a slow, gentle assembly, a quiet construction project on a cosmic scale, as countless small pieces gradually came together to build our planetary home. In the inner part of the protoplanetary disk, where it was warmer, only rocky materials and metals could condense. This is where the rocky planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, were formed. In the outer, colder regions of the disk, ices of water, methane, and ammonia could also freeze and condense, allowing the gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, to grow to immense sizes, their powerful gravity pulling in huge amounts of hydrogen and helium gas from the surrounding nebula. Our own planet, Earth, formed through this slow process of accretion. It began as a collection of smaller planetesimals that collided and merged, gradually growing into a large, molten sphere. This early Earth was a hot, chaotic place, constantly bombarded by leftover debris from the formation of the solar system. One of the most significant of these collisions was with a Mars-sized object. This immense impact is thought to have thrown a vast amount of molten rock into orbit around the Earth, which eventually coalesced to form our moon. The presence of the moon would be crucial for the future of Earth. Its gravity stabilizes our planet's tilt, preventing wild climate swings and creating the stable, predictable tides that may have played a role in the origin of life. After the initial period of heavy bombardment ended, the Earth began to cool. A solid crust formed on its surface. Volcanoes released gases from the planet's interior, forming the first primitive atmosphere. And then the water came. It may have been delivered by comets and asteroids, icy bodies from the outer solar system that crashed into the young Earth over millions of years, delivering their frozen water to our world. This water collected in the low-lying areas of the crust, forming the first shallow oceans under a hazy, orange sky. The planet was becoming a world of rock, water, and air, a unique and precious jewel in the vastness of space, quietly preparing for its next, and perhaps most remarkable, chapter. For hundreds of millions of years, the young Earth was a quiet, almost sterile world. The oceans were rich in dissolved minerals and chemicals, a primordial soup of possibility, warmed by volcanic vents on the ocean floor and energized by lightning in the thick atmosphere. In this gentle, aquatic environment, something extraordinary began to happen. Simple organic molecules, the building blocks of life, began to form and link together into more complex structures. We may never know the exact details of this moment, but somehow, somewhere in the deep, quiet waters of the early Earth, a collection of molecules arose that had a remarkable new property. It could make copies of itself. This was the dawn of life. The first life on Earth was incredibly simple, far simpler than any single-celled organism alive today. These were just simple, self-replicating structures, the first faint stirrings of biology. For over 1 billion years, life remained in this simple, microscopic form, existing as single cells in the vast oceans. They were quiet, unseen architects slowly and profoundly changing the planet. One group of these early organisms, cyanobacteria, developed a new way to get energy, photosynthesis. They learned to harness the light of the sun, and in the process, they released a waste product, oxygen. For 1 billion years, these tiny bacteria pumped oxygen into the atmosphere. At first, this oxygen was absorbed by the iron in the oceans, creating vast bands of rust on the seafloor. But eventually, the oxygen began to build up in the atmosphere itself. This was a slow, planetary-scale transformation. The oxygen-rich atmosphere was toxic to much of the early life, but it also created an opportunity for a new, more energetic form of metabolism. It paved the way for the evolution of more complex cells and eventually multicellular life. The quiet, patient work of trillions of microscopic organisms over eons had transformed the Earth's atmosphere and set the stage for the explosion of life that was to come. The story of life on Earth is a story of slow, gradual change, punctuated by occasional rapid shifts. For almost 4 billion years, life has been evolving, adapting, and diversifying, filling every possible niche on our planet's surface, in its oceans, and in its air. From those first simple cells, a vast and beautiful tree of life has grown. The first multicellular organisms, the first plants moving on a land, the age of dinosaurs, the rise of mammals, all are chapters in this long, unfolding story. And in one very recent branch of that tree of life, our own species, Homo sapiens, emerged. Our existence is a tiny fraction of the Earth's history, and an even smaller fraction of the history of the universe. We are newcomers to this ancient cosmos, and yet we are profoundly connected to it. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe, every atom in your body, other than the primordial hydrogen, was forged in the heart of a star that lived and died long before our sun was ever born. We are, quite literally, made of stardust. We are the universe's way of becoming aware of itself. Through our telescopes, we can look back in time. We can see the faint light of distant galaxies. We can read the story of cosmic evolution written in the light of the stars. Through our science, we can piece together the quiet history of how everything came to be, from that first moment of expansion to the complex, living world we inhabit today. As you lie here, resting, breathing, you are a part of this story. Your breath is a quiet rhythm that connects you to the first life that changed our atmosphere. Your body is a collection of atoms that connect you to the hearts of ancient, long-dead stars. You are a living, breathing piece of cosmic history, resting on a small, blue planet that is itself a product of a long and patient unfolding. And so, the universe continues its journey. Our sun is a middle-aged star with about 5 billion years of fuel left to burn. The Earth continues to orbit this star, a stable and life-giving home for now. The Milky Way galaxy continues its slow, majestic rotation, a celestial pinwheel in the vast darkness. And the universe as a whole continues to expand. The galaxies are moving farther and farther apart. The future of the cosmos, over unimaginably long timescales, will be one of increasing cold and darkness. The era of star formation will eventually end. The stars will burn out one by one, leaving behind cold, dark remnants. The universe will grow quiet once more, returning to a state of darkness, not unlike the cosmic dark ages that came before the first stars. But this is a future so distant, so far removed from our own experience, that it is like a dream. It is a story for another time. For now, we exist in the universe's vibrant, starlit afternoon. We are fortunate to live in a time when the cosmos is filled with light, with galaxies, with the potential for life. We are here, now, on this beautiful world, surrounded by the legacy of 13.8 billion years of quiet, creative evolution. As you continue to rest, feel the profound peace of this connection. Feel the immense, silent history that has led to this very moment. To you, resting here, safe and sound. You are a part of a story that is grander and more ancient than you can possibly imagine. And yet, it is also your story. The universe is not something separate from you. It is what you are made of. The quiet of the night that surrounds you is a reflection of the great, peaceful silence of space. The gentle rhythm of your breathing is a part of the long, slow rhythm of cosmic time. There is no need to hold on to any of these thoughts. Let them drift by like clouds in the night sky. Allow yourself to feel the deep, calming peace that comes from knowing you are a small but precious part of this vast, quiet, and beautiful universe. Let this story be a gentle reminder of the immense tranquility that underpins all of existence, a tranquility that you can now sink into as you drift off into a deep and peaceful sleep. The story of the universe is still being written, and your rest is a small, quiet, and perfect part of it. The darkness behind your closed eyes is a friendly darkness, a creative darkness, just like the darkness that existed before the first stars. It is a darkness full of potential, a place of rest and renewal. Let go of the day and allow yourself to float in this peaceful, cosmic ocean. The journey from the beginning to now has been long and slow, and now it is time for rest. The universe will continue its silent dance while you sleep, and you can trust that all is well. All is calm. All is quiet. Just breathe and let go. The history of everything has brought you to this moment of peace. Embrace it. The same forces that shape the galaxies are now cradling you as you sleep. The same silence that filled the eons is now here to bring you rest. The universe is a vast and patient place, and it has all the time in the world for you to find your peace. The story does not end. It simply pauses for this quiet moment of sleep. And in this pause, there's a deep and abiding serenity. Feel the weight of your body, a gentle anchor to this small, spinning planet. Feel the warmth of your breath, a small, stellar furnace within you. You are a microcosm of the cosmos, a universe of your own, and it is time for that universe to be still. Let the gentle unfolding of the cosmic story become the gentle unfolding of your own dreams. The quiet history of the universe is a lullaby, and is singing you to sleep. There is nothing left to do but listen to the silence and drift away. The stars will be there when you wake. The sun will rise, as it has for billions of years. The story will continue. But for now, your part is simply to rest, to be still, and to sleep. Deep, peaceful cosmic sleep. The vastness of space holds you. The silence of the ages soothes you. The long, slow story of creation has led to this perfect moment of rest. Let all go and sleep. The universe, in its quiet majesty, has unfolded over these immense stretches of time, all leading to this moment. Each step, a gentle and unhurried transition from the pure potential of the beginning. A universe blossomed, not with a sound, but with the silent grace of a flower opening. Imagine that first expansion, a smooth and perfect stretching of space itself, creating the very stage upon which everything would play out. It was a moment of pure creation, a silent exhalation that set the cosmos in motion. And as this new space cooled, it was like a breath turning to frost on a cold winter morning. Energy became substance. The first particles, the quarks and electrons, emerged from the warmth, like tiny dewdrops forming in a cooling mist. They danced in a thick, energetic soup, a vibrant and chaotic sea that held the seeds of all future matter. There was a rhythm to this early time, a balance of creation and annihilation, until a tiny persistent surplus of matter remained. A cosmic whisper that would allow a universe of substance to exist. This leftover matter, so small in proportion, was everything. It was the clay from which all stars and all life would be sculpted. Then came the first structures. The quarks, like dancers finding partners as the music slows, joined together to form protons and neutrons. These simple building blocks then began to fuse in the hot furnace of the early universe. For a few brief, shining minutes, the cosmos was a star, forging the hydrogen and helium that would make up nearly all the visible matter for all of time. The recipe was simple, yet perfect. But after this initial burst of creation, the universe became a glowing fog. For thousands of years, it was opaque, a luminous cloud where light was trapped, unable to travel freely. It was a time of waiting, a long, patient pause as the cosmos continued to expand and cool. And then the fog lifted. Electrons settled into their homes around the atomic nuclei, and the universe, for the very first time, became transparent. The light from that moment, the first light, was released, and it began its long journey through space and time, a journey that continues to this day. It is a faint, cool echo of that grand clearing, a silent testament to the moment the universe gained its clarity. What followed was a period of profound and beautiful silence. The cosmic dark ages. For hundreds of millions of years, there were no stars. There was only darkness, a thin, cool mist of hydrogen and helium atoms adrift in the vast expanse. But this darkness was not empty. It was filled with the patient, invisible work of gravity. Ever so slowly, gravity began to pull these atoms together. It sculpted the mist into vast, invisible filaments, a cosmic web that would serve as the skeleton for the universe to come. It was a time of quiet architecture, of laying the foundations in the dark. And at the densest nodes of this web, the first great clouds of gas began to collapse. The darkness began to give way. The centers of these clouds grew hotter and denser until, one by one, the first stars ignited. They were like candles being lit in a vast, dark cathedral, their brilliant blue-white light pushing back the shadows. These giant stars were the pioneers of the cosmos. They lived short, brilliant lives, and when they died, they seeded the universe with new elements, the heavy elements that are the building blocks of planets and of life itself. They were the first generation, generously providing the raw materials for all that would follow. From these seeds, the galaxies began to grow. Small clusters of stars merged and danced together in gravitational embrace, forming larger and more majestic structures. Our own Milky Way was built this way, from the slow and steady accumulation of smaller galaxies over billions of years. It became a spinning city of 100 billion stars, its spiral arms tracing a pattern of ongoing birth and creation. And on a far grander scale, these galaxies traced the lines of the cosmic web, a shimmering, celestial tapestry stretching across the observable universe. Within one of the quiet, suburban arms of our galaxy, a new story began. A cloud of gas and stardust, the inheritance of countless stellar generations, began to collapse. At its heart, our sun was born, a steady, life-giving star, and around it, a disk of leftover dust and gas began the slow, patient process of building planets. Tiny grains of dust stuck together, growing over millions of years from pebbles to boulders to worlds. It was a quiet, gentle assembly, a cosmic construction project that resulted in our solar system. And one of these newly formed worlds was our Earth. It cooled from a molten ball, it was gifted with water from icy comets, and it developed an atmosphere. It became a perfect cradle, a small, blue oasis in the vastness of space. In the warm, shallow oceans of this young planet, life began. From a soup of simple chemicals, the first self-replicating molecules emerged, a quiet and mysterious beginning to the story of biology. For billions of years, life remained simple, microscopic, yet it was profoundly powerful. Tiny organisms transformed the entire planet, filling the atmosphere with oxygen and preparing the world for more complex forms of life to evolve. The tree of life grew and branched, creating a world of breathtaking diversity and beauty. And on one of its newest, tiniest twigs, we appeared. We are the children of this entire cosmic story. Our bodies are woven from the elements forged in stars. Our consciousness is a product of billions of years of planetary evolution. We are a way for the universe to know itself, to look back upon its own long, quiet history, and to wonder. As you rest here tonight, you are the culmination of this 13.8 billion year journey. You're a living, breathing piece of that history. The silence of the cosmos is not an empty silence. It is a silence of creation, of patience, of immense and peaceful unfolding. It is the silence that holds the stars, the silence that cradles our sleeping planet, and the silence that now invites you to rest. There's a deep and abiding peace in this story, a sense of belonging to something so vast, so ancient, and so beautiful. Let that feeling of peace be your blanket tonight. Let the slow, steady rhythm of cosmic time be your lullaby. You are safe. You are part of it all. And now it is time to sleep. Let your mind drift and float upon this story, like a leaf on a slow-moving river. There is no need to grasp it, no need to remember. Simply allow the gentle cadence of this cosmic history to soothe you. Return to that feeling before the beginning, a state of pure, quiet potential. A single seed holding all of space and time within it. Feel the silent, graceful expansion, not as a chaotic event, but as a gentle, outward breath, creating the vast canvas of reality. See the universe as a cooling sea of energy, with the first particles precipitate like morning dew, shimmering into existence. This was the birth of substance, the dawn of the physical world, a quiet transition from pure energy into the tangible matter that surrounds us. Imagine the slow dance of quarks finding their partners, forming the stable protons and neutrons that lie at the heart of every atom. It was a moment of fundamental connection, of order emerging from chaos, all happening in the first few moments of time. The universe was still a brilliant, glowing fog, a place of uniform light and heat, patiently waiting for clarity. Feel the moment of recombination, the great clearing. Imagine the fog lifting on a cosmic scale as electrons find their place around nuclei, allowing light to travel freely for the first time. The universe became transparent, and this first light, now a faint, cool whisper called the cosmic microwave background, still bathes us today, is the gentle echo of that first sunrise. Then, sink into the profound peace of the cosmic dark ages. A long, tranquil night that lasted for hundreds of millions of years. A time of utter darkness and silence, where the only thing at work was the slow, patient pull of gravity. Feel that gentle, persistent force, gathering the invisible mist of atoms into the first great structures, sketching the cosmic web in the dark. It was a time of quiet preparation, of gestation before the dawn, and then feel the slow awakening. The first stars igniting, not with a bang, but as a gradual warming, a soft glow that builds into a brilliant point of light in the immense darkness. These stellar giants lived briefly but generously, creating the heavier elements and scattering them into space, providing the raw materials for the next generation. Watch as these first stars gather into small, fledgling galaxies, which then dance and merge over billions of years, growing into the grand spiral cities of stars like our own Milky Way. See our galaxy as a vast, spinning nursery, where clouds of gas and dust are compressed in its beautiful arms, triggering the birth of new stars in an endless cycle of renewal. In one of these quiet arms, our own solar system begins its story. A cloud of stardust collapses, our sun ignites at its center, in the swirling disk around it, planets are patiently assembled. Feel the slow accretion, the gentle gathering of dust into worlds. Our Earth is born, a molten sphere that cools and finds its stability, graced by a moon that steadies its path and water that fills its oceans. It becomes a harbor, a unique and precious stage for the next act. And on this stage, life begins its quiet, tenacious journey. From the simplest replicating molecules in the deep ocean, a web of life grows and diversifies over eons, transforming the very planet it calls home. Feel the deep, slow time of evolution, the patient unfolding of biological complexity that led to the lush, living world we know. And at the very end of this long, unbroken chain of life, you are here. You are the result of this entire cosmic epic. The atoms within you were cooked in the hearts of stars and have traveled across galaxies and eons to come together for a short time as you. The water in your body is as ancient as the oceans. The electrical signals in your brain follow the same physical laws that guide the orbits of planets. You are not separate from this story. You are its living embodiment. As you lie here, ready for sleep, let this deep connection to the universe be a source of profound comfort and peace. You belong to this quiet, unfolding story. The vastness of space is not cold and empty. It is your ancestral home. The silence of the night is not a void. It is the sound of creation at its most patient. Let go of the small worries of your day. Let them dissolve into the immense timescale of the cosmos. Your breath is a tiny, perfect rhythm in the grand symphony of existence. Your rest is a moment of peaceful participation in the universe's endless cycle of activity and stillness. Allow yourself to sink into that stillness now. Feel the gentle pull of gravity holding you securely to this planet. Trust in the quiet, orderly processes that have guided the universe from its first moment to this one. They will continue to do so as you sleep. There is nothing you need to do, nothing to solve. Simply be, rest, and let the quiet history of the universe rock you gently into a deep, restorative, and peaceful sleep. The story will be here tomorrow. For now, there is only the quiet, the darkness, and your peaceful breath. Sleep now. Sleep well.